So I mount my top up into the dowel chuck and be sure that it clears. Get my detail gouge here, turn it on. I try to look and see how true it's turning. If it's not completely true, I'll shut it off, maybe turn the dowel around a little bit, and most of the time they'll true up. And if not, I'll just go ahead and take it and true up. And this is one of the reasons why I use the mandrel saver, is this ensures that it's going to be turning true on this end. If you use the one-way live center, it'd be possible that if your dowel wasn't turning true, it would go around it, pull it off true, you'd turn your top, and then when you remove the live center, it'd pop back out around. Okay, so I've got it in here. Depending on how I feel, and maybe one top to the next, I'll do things different, but I'll turn it down around. And this one's square. Sometimes I'll take put the blank on the bandsaw and cut the corners off. I've turned them around. I've turned octagons on the table saw and then cut it into pieces, just kind of whatever I feel like doing when I'm making the blanks. I usually make about 100 blanks at a time. And it all works. If you cut the corners off, it's a little bit easier to turn. There's less dust going around. Maybe I don't think I had it quite tight enough there. This is the 3/8" detail gouge, and if you catch it, you can do just right. You can do a facing cut without getting any run back. To do the top of it, just come in like this. Still not quite true, so I'm going to take it down just a little bit. Don't know quite whether you can see the surface there, but really that's pretty smooth and true, and we can buy without sanding it, but I'll sand a little bit so it holds the marker a little better. I was turning about as fast as the lathe would go. I like to, if I remember, I try to turn it down to sand. If I don't remember, then I get this burning sandpaper smell, and I know I should have turned it down. Here's another Sorby texturing tool. This is a large size. It's got a ball bearing in it, and I did something similar with setting it up to get this right angle. And these came in a set, so I tried them out. They work fine. I think the smaller tools work as well or better. Just kind of keep the speed down to sanding speed and come in here, do the texturing. And then how you hold the tool tells you how your texture is gonna look. Whether you move it up and down or keep it straight. Don't know whether you can see the texture. I'll pull it off later, but I don't want to do it before I'm done turning the top. It will throw it out around. And when I watched the very first demonstration on the Sorby texturing tools over at Woodcraft, they had a Sorby guy in there. He was talking about taking a brush and brushing the sawdust out of the texture before you color it. I do that sometimes. Today I forgot a brush to do it, so I won't. As far as the outside edge here, you can take the standard Sorby tool, since we're going at right into the surface, and gives kind of a milled surface there. One of the colors that I like on the tops real well, I think it helps, but it's the hardest to find one that looks good on the wood is yellow. It either doesn't show up or looks real funny. This is one of my wife's alcohol markers, and it's not too bad. It's not my favorite. Come up here and put some up on the top. Then I'll take a Sharpie and go up against the yellow. And then maybe, let me see. There's an orange. You can tell when I've been turning because I'll have markers all over my fingers. I just can't open them up and close them without getting it. Put a little red up against the orange. Stop the lathe. It looks okay, but I think I want to make the red quite a bit darker down here on the bottom side. Turn the speed back up. Get a small detail tool and come in here and turn the bottom. About the point where I get to where it's going to break free. I can leave it like that, but sometimes a little piece here gets stuck in the mandrel saver, so if I remember, I'll move it away. Kind of come in here and kind of burnish the tip. I kind of like a little bit of a rounded tip that makes the lathe self-centering as it spins. Everybody's got their different ideas on how to make that work. I burnish it with the grinding marks on the gouge. You can also take one of these sanding sticks and do a little sanding, a little piece of sandpaper. People use the Scotch-Brite pads. Then once I've got that done, I could finish the top up with this unsupported, but this is why I like the mandrel saver also, is I can support the whole top this way, come in here, and work on the stem. I like to get the top part of the lathe pretty thin. You know, when you think about how when you're spinning it in your hand, the smaller it is, when you flip your fingers, the faster it's going to go. You can't get too small or the kids can't spin them, but I kind of like to have this nice taper in here. Do a little bit of sanding here. Come in here and cut it off. Occasionally I'll get a run back with the skew, and sometimes I have to cut that out. Other times it looks like a nice little spiral that I had intended to do, but that's something I can't replicate. You can kind of see what we've got there. Take a little sandpaper and kind of smooth the top off. Okay, here's a top blank where I cut the long piece into a octagon and then sliced it up. I have cut some of the tops using the octagon shape, but I won't do that today. That's just a different way to do it. Get it nice and tight. Looks like it's turning true. Okay, this one I'll turn starting out using a parting tool. You can also get the little point down on this end with the parting tool. Come in and face the top and the bottom with the parting tool. And use the parting tool to peel it around. You can't really get the nice smooth finish with a parting tool. You kind of basically get the shape. I'm cutting a little lip in here. I saw somebody do this at a demonstration where they're turning a vase, and on the top of the vase, so that they didn't get skate back out of the vase, they took a skew or a scraper or something and turned a little lip, and then they were able to put the bowl gouge on it and do the cut. And that's what I'm doing here. I'll use a spindle gouge here, and I'll put the spindle gouge in that little lip. And it makes it much easier to do this with this spacing cut started. I've also tried to turn some of these left-handed so that I don't have to get, this like that. If I turn it left-handed, and now when I was demonstrating the wrong way to do that, I got a little bit of a catch, I think, so I'll try to be sure that I've got that off the surface. Yeah. So use my side texturing tool. I was complaining about the noise that the chatter tool makes. This makes about as much noise, but one of the reasons is that I forgot to turn the speed of the lathe down. Just do a little bit more here. Use the Ron Brown texturing tool here for the outer edge. That's a fairly aggressive texture all the way around. On the colors, blue here, and especially donating it to charity, they go to both boys and girls, so you have to do some pinks and blues as well as the other colors. Sometimes I'll take a black marker and highlight the edges of the different colors with black to kind of get a different look. I was looking earlier, I don't think I got over here with a black marker, so we won't do that today, but that's a different technique of colors to get a different effect. Also, I don't normally put any colors up on the stem. I figure the kids are going to have their fingers on those. It's water soluble. Some people do that. Some people put finishes on the top. I pretty much just texture and color the bottom and the top of the lower part. Leave the stem either plain. I have started putting a little bit of coves and different things in it, primarily because when you're, with the pandemic and everything is turning tops, kind of going through my blanks too fast, I decided I needed to put a little bit more time into each top so that they take longer. In the past, I've also not textured and colored the bottom of them, but I said, well, I might as well do that because it doesn't take very long. Okay, we'll do the bottom, do the point. That came off, and unfortunately it wasn't stuck up in there. I've spent 2 or 3 minutes trying to pry that little point out of the mandrel saver, so that one didn't do that, and it's good. said, sometimes I'll come in here and do some coves. I reached and got the beating tool. I think I can cut this off with it instead of the skew. And thanks a lot, and keep in mind that you know, turning tops is a lot of fun. You turn several hundred of them, you'll be a better turner, and whoever gets the tops will be happy to have them. And just enjoy yourself with them. Do them however you like. Thank you.